Evening all. Right. Hope you're all right. It's not quite as late as it usually is. I finished work a little bit earlier today because I wanted to get a few bits done. Just having a swig of my cuppa. Nice bit of Yorkshire tea, as per. Right. This reading, I can't remember who asked for it. And I know I've had several people asking me for different readings, and I've jotted it down all somewhere, and I cannot for the life of me find it. So if you've requested a reading and I've not got back to you, it's because I've done what I usually do. My intention is always to put it all down in one place, but I'm not always in one place when I look at my comments. So I tend to put things down on bits of paper, and then with the intention of sticking it all down in a book, and I've lost all the bits of paper. And I know I've got readings requested, so I've forgotten. So if you've done a request, please resubmit it in the comments. This request is from somebody, and I beg your pardon, I cannot remember who you are because I can't find the paper, but I do remember the request. And I remember the request actually because I was asked this question on that podcast I did, and you can find the link to that podcast on my posts rather than my videos. And when I receive the file, I'll upload it to my video, so you all got access to it, for those of you who are not aware of it. If you're interested, you don't have to. This reading is about the proposed PIP changes. PIP, Personal Independence Payment, was originally called Disability Living Allowance. And for those of you outside of the UK, and I know there are quite a few of you, this is an allowance paid to people with a disability to help them manage the expenses or the added expenses of their life. And it goes in grades. There's a lower rate, there's a middle rate, and there's an enhanced rate. So those with the highest level of disability tend to get the enhanced rate for mobility and care. There's two different sections to it. So I've been researching this because I didn't know too much about it. I didn't know too much about the proposed changes. So I'm going to tell you what I found out, and then I'm going to do a reading on, is it going to be as scary as everybody thinks it's going to be? Now, I'm not getting anything at all that gives me any sort of alarm bells about the outcome of this, but I'm going to tell you what I found out. So for those of you who don't already know, because I'm sure lots of you have looked into it. Cup of tea going down. Right. So in 2022-23, PIP alone cost the UK taxpayer £3.9 billion. In the years 24 to 25, PIP shot up to 6.4 billion. These are both estimates. So it's sort of almost doubled in the last 2 years. Right. So I was thinking to myself, well, why would it go up really, really high? The population's, as the disabled population gone up high? Well, maybe that's twofold. Maybe that's the influx of huge influx of immigration. It could also be older generation. It could also, that's three things. It could also be the people who have been rendered disabled via a recent medical intervention, and that's all I'm going to say. So the Labour Party, in their infinite wisdom, have come up with a green paper on how they're going to cut back on the PIP welfare aspect of the welfare bill. That green paper is going into consultation towards the end of April, and that consultation period is going to be 12 weeks. Bearing in mind they're wanting to save money, my sort of first question that entered my head was, why are you saving money from the people who are most needy of this when, it's glaringly obvious to most of us who aren't sort of intellectually or politically or legally intelligent, if you like, we can see for ourselves why are you going for this. So I've looked through this paper or the proposal. Now, there are flaws in it. I found it all jargony. So this is just a quick Google search in the end, because I just found it really, really jargony. And I think it's designed like that for obvious reasons. So there's flaws in it. So the first flaw is that they are looking to disqualify people altogether from claiming personal independence payment. The second thing is that they're looking to oversimplify complex needs. So if you've got someone who's got a disability that maybe you can't see, I mean, I have complex needs, and to look at me, you wouldn't know it. But I do have disabilities. I do have health issues. But then if you're going to look at oversimplifying that rather than taking everybody as an individual, I think you're going to knock quite a few people off the list. They're going to turn, so because PIP payment is an actual payment of cash, well, it's not cash, it goes into your account, they're looking at changing the cash payments for vouchers, alternatives. And the really worrying thing about this is, one aspect of that is that they're going to look to redirect anybody with mental health issues towards treatment. What treatment? We haven't got any treatment. We haven't got any mental health services. This is the issue. So what treatment? Who's going to pay for it? If the mental health services have been depleted, where's the staff? Where's the psychiatric, where's the psychiatric nurses? Where's the counsellors? Where's the psychologists? Where's all this going to come from? So they're going to be redirected to treatment. Where? Isn't the NHS already overrun? They might change the qualifying period. So up to now, I believe that there's 2, maybe 3 qualifying periods. So somebody might be awarded PIP for 2 years because it's not considered a long-term condition. Somebody with a long-term condition could be qualifying up to 3 years. Some people 10 years at a time. So every time you come to the end of that qualifying period, you need another assessment, which means you need a face-to-face assessment. And the people who do the assessments aren't doctors. They're ambulance drivers and paramedics. So they don't really have that huge level of medical knowledge. They've got good knowledge, a lot of them, but they're not doctors. And the other one is, so the process is to prevent fraudulent claims and fake documents. So they're saying that actually there's been a lot of fraud within the PIP claiming system. Some of that is people fraudulently claiming for PIP, and some of that is fraud as in criminal gangs. £90 million was estimated lost due to fraud, or get this one, error in the PIP system. Error. £35 billion was wrongly paid by the Department of Work and Pensions since the pandemic. £35 billion wrongly paid by the DWP. Benefit fraud, criminal gangs, fraudulent claims. So they're going to introduce yet another bill, the new Fraud, Error and Debt Bill. And this is supposed to be to combat any fraudulent claims, criminal gangs and all that kind of thing, find where they're wrongly issuing payments, try and mop up DWP error, which means they may have access to your bank accounts. As an aside, it might not seem relevant, but maybe it is, but it was something that I was guided to do. Illegal immigration costs in 2023 was estimated at £3.96 billion. PIP costs in 2022-23 was £3.96 billion. The same, weird. In 2024-25, the estimated cost of illegal immigration was £6.4 billion. 2024-25 estimated cost of PIP, £6.4 billion. So there are flaws in the new system. There will be people that fall through the net. There continues to be people who fraudulently claim. I'm sure lots of people know somebody who fraudulently claims benefit, or can clearly see with their own eyes that someone is fraudulently claiming. My gut feeling is that the majority of the money that's going down the gurgler isn't coming from fraudulent claims, it's coming from error, and it's coming from criminal activity other than fraudulent claims. So let's dive into it. Silicon Ways, Davers of a Creation. If you're interested in these cards, you would need to go to Silicon Ways' own website, because she doesn't sell these cards on Amazon. She's the artist and the creator of the whole thing. She has them made up, she has them printed and everything. You have to buy directly from her. So let's have a Davers of Creation just to start us off. And yes, I am going to read the blurb because they are oracle cards. So, Pip, this 12-week consultation then. This is what I want to look at with the tarot today, is see if they can get some answers from the tarot and my guides today about the outcome of the 12-week consultation. We have to remember that the Labour Party is in the majority. If they all vote in the same way, it will go through. My guess is, my gut feeling is, it's not going to get to that, because I don't think the unions will have it. We've got number 40. Number 40, is that the moon? I don't know. Let's have a look. Number 40, Mercury. Mercury is the smallest and innermost planet of the solar system, moving very rapidly around the sun. Since Greek times, it's been associated with the Greek god Hermes, the messenger. Hermes the messenger. You'll know about Mercury retrograde and all that kind of thing. And the Roman equivalent, Mercurius, and thus to commence travel and alchemy, reflecting its rapid solar journey and mercurial character. The Deva of this planet thus indicates a quick silver mind, good communication skills. One might call it the gift of the gab, and great charisma. Support from the Deva provides an enviable ability to manifest what you want in physical terms, which gives the planetary Deva its association with magic or alchemy. I think this card is teaching us to start learning how to manifest what we want. More challenging traits may be a lack of commitment or an inability to settle, sometimes masking an underlying confusion or unresolved hurt. There may even be some self-delusion or hidden deception, untruths told either consciously or unconsciously, and important details omitted. Thus, the appearance of Mercury can indicate great communication skills or the ability to skate around the truth when conveniently. That's Parliament, isn't it? Astrologically, Mercury is the ruling planet for Gemini and Virgo. So there we go. Because it's communication as well. What what came up in my head when I realised it's Mercury, Hermes, the messenger. I'm wondering whether it's telling us to actually use our skills of reading and writing and write to our MPs about this, because the more they're bombarded with letters in their inbox all saying, I think you need to think again, and maybe you ought to spend your money not punishing those who are disabled by cutting the benefits. Maybe you should spend the money you're going to spend policing it by policing the criminal gangs first and the errors created within the DWP, because they've lost, how much is it? £35 billion wrongly paid by the DWP since the pandemic. £35 billion. That's 5 years worth of payout for PIP, including all the fraud. So So when you think about it, even though it might seem really, really scary that all these rules are going to change, there's still a consultation process, which is 12 weeks. You've got time to get in your objections to your MPs. Tell your friends and family, anybody you know's on PIP, tell them, write to your MP, tell them your old story about your entire medical history, the whole lot, blow the pants off them, contact them every week, get everybody, to do the same thing. And eventually they'll have to come to the table and say, my constituents don't like this. And if we continue down this path, we're going to lose our seat next time there's an election. So maybe that's what we need to do. We need to use our powers of the written word. Utilise your MP. That's what they get paid copious amounts of money for. So what about this consultation process then? Got the King of Cups in reverse. Oops. We've got 6 swords. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. They're flying tonight. We've got the High Priestess. We've got the 4 of Cups. I'm just going to get a few out because, here we go. We've got a Fool. And we've got the 3 of Pentacles. Right. Let me look at these. Give me a second. Right, we've got the King of Cups. We'll start with that. King of Cups is someone who's, this is a Cancer person. If you're looking at a person, the traits are a family man, caring, loving, benevolent kind of person. In the reverse, you're looking at someone or an entity or a characteristic that really couldn't give 2 shits. This characteristic in the sort of shadow aspect can be actually quite ruthless, emotionally ruthless. So, I mean, maybe this is the government right now, being emotionally ruthless, trying to be detached from the situation because they think they're counting the pennies and they're realising that they've overshot the mark. I think Rachel Reeves has already spent through the buffer pot that she'd got in the Treasury and all the daft shit that they've been doing. So then from the King of Cups, we've got the 7 of Swords. So we're moving through choppy waters. So this not very benevolent, couldn't give a shit entity is trying to steer its way through choppy waters. Now I'm seeing this as the sea of mistakes. There's a lot of anxiety within government about the mistakes made in the budget and the spending. It's just it's obscene, the amount of spending that's going to waste. There's a lot of anxiety about that, but they're trying to move the way through it. So in their own little worlds, they are sort of acting like they can pull it off, and that what is it they always say? Well, there's going to be more, you'll have more money in your pockets, and this is for the working people. These people are truly deluded. I believe they actually believe what they're saying. Um, so they're actually not very benevolent at all. They're very anxious about the current state of the economy. They're trying to move the way forward through it. But there's a kind of air to this card which I don't normally see in it. In fact, I don't see in this card. This is the single lady card. A lot of people call it the single lady card. But it's sort of the overall essence of this is someone, or it could be a group, or it could be an entire country that has everything they need. They've made it. Everything in the garden's rosy. But while I'm looking at this card through the viewfinder in my phone, I'm seeing this air of nonchalance, like couldn't give a fuck. I'm all right, Jack. That's how I'm seeing it this time around. So even though they don't give a shit, they are trying to maneuver the way through. It's not for the sake of the people. It's because they're all right, Jack, and they're okay. Doesn't really matter. That's what I'm getting from that. I don't know, for some reason the expression on her face looks like, yeah, I'm not bothered, I've got everything I want. Up yours. That's what it feels like. And then for some reason, we've got the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is being able to see through the veil. Someone who's very intuitive, seeing through the veil, seeing through the bullshit, cutting through the bullshit, being able to reveal what is hidden. But for now, it remains hidden because we've got the High Priestess. So the sort of end result of this, trying to steer through difficult economic times, the answer's there. I think they know exactly where they're heading with this, but they're not being truthful about it. They're keeping that well and truly hidden. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's because they know it wouldn't go down well. I think they already know it's not going to go down well, whatever they do. So with this Four of Clubs, couldn't give a monkeys, trying to sort of plough the way through this messy time of trying to sort the economy out, causing lots and lots of anxiety. They're trying to get to calmer waters. But in the meantime, what you've got is one hell of a lot of people being stubborn. This feels like this is what I want to happen because it's what I love about our party or our country, and it's going to stay like that because I'm stuck in this bubble of this is England kind of bubble. But that there's an offer coming in of help. This is an offer of help, but it's being ignored. So it feels like they are being, lots of people or prominent or very important people have stepped in and tried to offer words of advice and comfort and what have you through all this issue with the state of the finances of the country, but they just they don't want to accept it because they've got a particular view. So whether this has got to do with the Labour's ideology or not, I don't know. But changing PIP and taking disability payments away from the most needy is not a very Labour Party thing to do. It's not going to make them very popular. I'm sure they're well aware of that. But then again, they were well aware about the winter fuel allowance, and they didn't give a two stuffs about that either, did they? So So we're trying to move towards this state of everything in the garden's rosy, self-sufficiency, got everything we need. There's a huge anxiety over this, trying to navigate the way through the mistakes they've made so far. And they are massive mistakes so far. So they're trying to move towards better times. While at the same time, they couldn't give two monkeys because they are actually catered for. And then at the top of that, we've got the Fool. They're being asked to change direction and start a different tactic, one that they've never done before. And I think maybe they have done it before, but it's alien to this lot. And that is to what they are doing at the moment is cutting money from the people who need it the most. And it seems to be a very foolish move. If you look at the Fool card, here he is. Ordinarily, this is a novice, someone who's very naive. He's setting out on a journey. He's got everything he possesses in his knapsack over a stick. He's got a flower in his hand. He's, fiddly-dee, fiddly-dum. Got a little dog here, snapping at his heels, barking to warn him he's about to fall off the edge of the cliff. Because that's what happens in life. You start a new journey. You start a new thing. You take a risk. And when you take risks, you're either going to float or you're going to sink. So they're starting to take huge risks. And this PIP thing and the benefit thing is one of them. And I think they are heading for a fall with this. I really do. And then with the 9 and the High Priestess and the 3 of Pentacles, we've got, they're all right. It's very secretive. They know where it's going. They know what it's going and they know what they want to do, but they're keeping most of it under wraps for now because they haven't quite worked out how they're going to do it. Right now, they're all working together. They're working together. They're pulling together people from different disciplines to try and work out a plan before it's voted on. So there we go. We're not quite there yet. They're announcing it. That may be why they've got this 12-week consultation going first. And it all depends on who's in on that consultation and what their expertise is, really. Because they don't seem to use people who know what they're doing. Well, I don't think they have got anybody who really knows what they're doing. I don't think they've got anybody who's expert enough or experienced enough. And I think this is the issue. So then there's an offer of help being ignored. They are foolishly heading towards a cliff and they're going to come a cropper with this one. I can see this. They're heading for a fall with this one. I think this might just be the final nail in the coffin. People were up in arms about winter fuel allowance. But then when it starts affecting disabled people, disabled kids, disabled adults, people who need that extra money to support them go to work and live a normal life, all the things that they can't do, but the money would help hire somebody else. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a knock on for that. I mean, if you think someone who's disabled but lives the life and they go to work and all that, then that extra payment might help them pay for, I don't know, a gardener or a decorator or all that kind of thing, a plumber, all that kind of thing. Well, if they're going to lose the money, those people are going to lose those little odd jobs that they get. So there's going to be a dip in the economy because of it. So they're heading for a fall. They're planning how they're going to do it. I think they're going to walk away from this one. 8 of Cups, walking away, leaving all the things you love behind, all the things that you've put your heart and soul into. This bill, someone spent a hell of a long time writing this bill, a hell of a long time. They've put a lot of effort into it, but this person's walking away from all that effort. So I think they're going to walk away from this one. I think it's going to be a battle, but I think this one's really is the straw that broke the camel's back. And when you look at exactly how much it costs for illegal migrants, is equals exactly the estimated cost for PIP, and you see that exactly the same. Then that's when those figures become really stark realization that we are spending money needlessly. We are spending money where we don't need to. And I'm not blaming the illegal migrants for coming. I'm really not, because if someone said to me, get on a boat and go to Andalusia and we'll give you a home and everything else, I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'd be actually, if someone said to me, just or more up on the sides of a beach in Shetland Isles, and we'll give you somewhere to live, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But I wouldn't be sat on my arse. I'd be working. Do you know what I mean? So if someone gave me that uplift, I'd be gone. So I don't blame them. I blame the politics. I blame the politicians. I blame the politics that they've been messing about with for far too long. It's got us to this state. But when you realise how much money is being hemorrhaged out of the pockets of working, whether you've got your own business or not, you're working, all manner of working people across this nation, it's been hemorrhaged out of our pockets, and it's not going back to our people who need it. So I don't think they're going to get away with this one. I think they're going to, yeah, I think they're going to walk away from this one. And then we've got the Four of Pentacles. Right. Money is at the heart of everything that they do. With this card, the Four of Pentacles, I always see this as someone or an entity or a group of people or a country or whatever that places material things above everything else. Money on the mind, money on the heart, money in the heart, materialistic. There's this emphasis on materialism, and the money under the feet as well. I'm keeping mine firmly planted. Mine's tucked away. My money's okay. I've got mine. I've got my things. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is my own. And that is the sort of overall feeling of many politicians in Parliament right now. So I want to know, so are we walking away from this PIP proposal to cut benefits for PIP? Yeah. The Tower. There's a big shake-up coming. There's a big shake-up coming of the whole benefit system anyway. We know that. I think they're going to bail on it. But I think what you're going to find is they're not going to say we're going to have to reverse this because it's not popular. They're not going to say that. I think they'll find some excuse, bury it, and say, well, we've moulded it into something else, and we found this and we found that. And I think they'll come up with something that makes it look like they've changed the system, and they are going to change the system. But it's going to look like they're going to tell us they've changed it no end, but in actual fact, it's really not much being done. In the meantime, everybody get right into your MPs. If you don't want this to happen, if you don't want them to do it, the only way to do that is to get involved. But I do think they're walking away from this one. I don't think they've got much choice. So that is the reading on the green paper and the PIP consultation and changes to PIP benefits. So keep your fingers crossed that anybody who is disabled who relies on that money, and it isn't a pittance because they actually pay less our benefits are less than most of the Western world. So it's not like we're anybody who receives benefits is thieving off anybody unless they are thieving, literally criminal gangs taking away someone's identity and then making claims. And I think that went up during the pandemic because people were making claims left, right, and centre fraudulently. Criminal gangs stealing people's identities, and because they weren't doing the assessments, face-to-face assessments, people getting paid out. I don't know how much that's continued, and I don't know if they've continued with assessments, and I don't know much else about the process, etc. But that's your pip reading. Anyway, I'm off. I'm going to go and get me tea because I'm early tonight. Get me. Anyway, speak to you soon. Take care. Ta-ra.